Summary of Facing Death. The play Facing Death is written by Swedish playwright August Strindberg. It is a one-act play carrying the story of Monsieur Durand, a former railroad worker and widower in financial ruin. Monsieur Durand is the prominent character of the play. He has 3 daughters. They are Adele, Annette, and Therese. They have no prospects for their future. He has tried to provide for his children, even letting out his house to lodgers. Every attempt he has made got with derision and mockery, but Monsieur Durand is determined and made a plan to ensure his daughters' financial futures, even if it takes him facing his own death. Facing Death carries the story of a father's love towards his children. He sacrifices everything for the children. It opens with the conversation between the protagonist Monsieur Durand and his daughter Adele, where they discuss the financial crisis of the family. She questions the responsibility of her father towards his daughters and family. Then, they talk about insurance, whether her father has paid or not. The father mentions the mortgage. The family has interacted with a financial crisis where the family has to pay dues and bills at several places like the grocery, the bakery, and the butcher shop, which has not paid for a long time. The story further develops with the father paying compliments to candles more than the food and other things. Adele seems disappointed to receive Antonio, a paying guest, as the family has no money to manage breakfast, and therefore, she requests her father to go and receive him. She supports her mother and states her opinion that if her mother was alive, the family would not face such a time of financial crisis, as she would manage it properly. All 3 daughters along with her look unhappy and dissatisfied with their father and his responsibility towards the family. Meanwhile, Antonio arrives to have breakfast. Durand states to Antonio that the family has lost in business and they are unable to manage anything for the family. Antonio desires to stay with the family as a guest for 1 more month. He desires to pay in advance, but Durand is not ready to accept his proposal. Rather, he openly mentions that the family is not able to run a business anymore. In reply to the question of Antonio whether Durand belongs to a Swiss citizen by birth or not, he affirms. Durand goes outside for managing the bread. Then, Therese, the youngest daughter of the family, enters the stage, and she is very elated to see Antonio there. Antonio exalts her beauty, and then they converse about her pet cat. Then, Antonio puts his arms around her neck and kisses her, which upsets Durand. Being angry at him, he threatens Antonio to go away from there, and he leaves the place. His daughters become angry and sit by looking at their father's misbehaviors. Furthermore, they are angry and upset at him for his irresponsible behaviors towards the family. As Durand is going away for collecting money for the family, he says the daughters to extinguish the fire and close the doors and windows. He asks Therese about her and Antonio's relationship. When she accepts the relationship, Durand says her to go and marry him. Therese asks for forgiveness from her father for being cruel to him and not favoring and disregarding her father. They get confused about his outgoing and return or not in such critical cases. After that, in the story Facing Death, Durand returns home and discloses his past life with his wife or their mother, how they fell in love, and how they settled in Switzerland after getting neutralized citizenship, though their mother was French, and then he left their mother and joined France in the war against Germany. It is their mother's carelessness and foolish speculation. She ruined their parental property. even if how he took all the faults and obstacles as his own responsibility after the death of his dear wife. Finally, Durand recollects Adele that she should take care of her sisters and reveals the most significant fact in the house. Facing no income, Durand decides to burn down the house and poisons himself. He advises Adele, the oldest, to keep the truth secret and cash in on fire policy to save the family. Then, he takes poison and sets fire in the house so that the family would receive a large sum of claim from the fire insurance agency as if he dies in the fire, and then the play terminates.